What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Make an Impact podcast with real people, real stories, and real impact. My name's Turnbull. I'm an entrepreneur, husband, and father on a mission to empower individuals to share their stories so they can make an impact on you. My good friend, Travis Rabbers, he's a commercial lines banker with the Bank of Utica, is in the house today. This episode is for you if you are in the middle of a career change, moving to an area, realizing you need to get more involved in your community, networking, looking to volunteer more. This guy does it all. You will not be in the Utica area and go to an event without seeing Travis Rabbers there. I can assure you of that. Let's get on to Travis Rabbers. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Make an Impact podcast. We got a special guest in the house today. I was telling Mike, I think every time when we start, I say we have a special guest, which we do. We have very special guests, Travis, on this podcast. Yeah. And I made a post on Facebook the other day, Michael Taft, that loves just coming in the episodes here. Travis Rabbers, ladies and gentlemen, you will be hard pressed to find a better human being than this man right here. And I'm gonna come. That's coming out hot. Coming out hot.
Much appreciated.
But Travis Rabbers is a community bank representative for Bank of Utica, community champion, past president of Rotary Club of Utica, current Catalyst Steering Committee member, on the United Way Committee. What else am I forgetting, Travis? Hit me.
I think
By the way, this is all off the top of the head.
I know you did. No, so far so good. Yeah.
Co-chair of the Service Above Self Gala.
That's right. Who's the other co-chair?
Thank gosh. Yeah. Thank gosh we're both here.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for this conversation. You talk about the point of the podcast is Make an Impact podcast. We have somebody here that makes an impact in every organization in this town, and he's not even from the town, which I think is even more remarkable. I want to get into that story, but Travis, welcome to the Make an Impact podcast. Thank you for being here.
That was a great introduction. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
What's going on today? We're off at the bank.
I was just, we were talking about had the day off, banker's holiday. Love that 3-day weekend.
Every day is a banker's holiday.
It's been a good day so far.
Take me back to Travis Rabbers growing up.
Oh boy.
Because it wasn't in Central New York. It wasn't in Utica. Take us back there, and then I want to tell a story that's going to transfer us into what I want to talk about specifically with you, but take us back to the good old days, if we'll call them.
Good old days back in southwestern Michigan, a very small town called Stevensville. It was a destination place for summer. It was right next to the lake, so 5-10 minutes from Lake Michigan. Beautiful place, very small town, and grew up there, born and raised there, and ended up going to actually wearing my old college logo right there. Went to Central Michigan University up at Mount Pleasant, was at Chippewa for a few years, and came back home, was working for a little bit, and loved my time there in Michigan. And it was a very small town. Everyone knew everyone, and it was, good place.
What do you think, looking back, about your experience about growing up in a small town? Also, for the listeners, define small town for us.
I mean, my graduating class in high school had 32 people.
Small town.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get him, Mike, but you got us on that.
The high school itself had, I think, less than 100 during my time, and now it's over 100, but one hallway, and I remember playing against kids in sports, and you played against the same people, like from grade school, middle school, high school, and so you'd play the same people all throughout in different sports.
Yeah.
And you got to know a lot of the people then, and then a lot of the business owners, community owners, you'd see a lot of the same people. And once you kind of knew your people's last name, you're like, oh, you're so-and-so's son, or you go to this place. And so, very small town.
So growing up in the small town and always just had the vision set, Utica, New York.
Yeah.
That was always the vision where you wanted to be, right? Tell us how you ended up here.
I always say, if you would have told me, it's been 7 years now, if you'd have told me 7 years ago that I'd be living in New York, I just would have told you were crazy, because did not see that one coming at all. But I say it's been one of those beautiful things that has just worked out very well, and I'm very grateful and thankful for ending up in this area and meeting great people, because I don't know what life would be like if I stayed in Michigan, but I'm very grateful that I ended up here in a great place. And that's proof to always check your LinkedIn messages, because you never know where that LinkedIn message will take you.
So they're not all spam, you're saying?
They're not all spam.
I haven't looked at a LinkedIn message in 5 years.
Yeah, most for spam, and I think 99% of them have been spam, but that 1% ended up working out pretty well for me.
And what was that message?
That-
Job recruitment?
Yeah, that was the message asking, hey, do you want to relocate to Utica? Or I mean, at the time, the message just said, are you interested in a job in Utica? And that's kind of what ended up bringing them out here.
We had Ross on the podcast. Thank you, Kurska. Thank you, Mike. And he was sharing a similar story about how he was moving here, and I think they just said like Utica or whatever, and he just immediately assumed it was down in the city and all that. Like, did you have that moment where you're like, yeah, where's Utica?
The only thing I knew about Utica was when it was referenced on The Office.
That's fun.
That was the only, like the episodes where they would show the Utica branch. That's the only way I knew about Utica. I thought the same thing. I'd been to New York City before as a kid, and when I pictured New York, that's what I imagined. I didn't know anything else about upstate or central New York, and so getting to explore everything else that's in this area. And I mean, frankly, I feel like it's the best of New York is in this area too.
Why?
I've never been a big city person, and I think the community ties that you can find here, the different, I'm a big destination person. So you've got the Finger Lakes, you've got Lake Placid, you have the Adirondacks, Niagara Falls and Buffalo. So you've got beautiful places, and then the people itself, you've got great businesses, great community in this area. So no, it's been fantastic.
So take us, how old were you when you moved out here and accepted that job?
7 years ago, I was 24.
So 24 years old, packing up the Honda.
Same
Packing
Honda
up
Fit.
the Honda.
Had to make 2 trips.
2 trips with the Honda Fit.
2 trips with the Honda Fit.
And I want everybody I want you to feel like we're crawling in that Honda right now. Okay,
Oh,
that's
boy,
my point.
It's gonna be tight.
So we're gonna take the first trip on the Honda Fit. 24 years old, single, no friends out here,
Nope.
no connections. You know nothing but what the GPS is telling you where to go.
That's it.
Take us through the mindset, because a lot of that is parallels to starting a new business, leaving a career, transferring jobs, the unknown, right? You're driving into the unknown with the Honda Fit.
Yeah.
But at 24 years old, no connections, not even distant cousins that you can go over to on Sunday night dinner. Take us through the mindset of why that was something you were interested in, what that looked like for you at that time.
Yeah, God bless that Honda Fit.
Still rocking, baby.
It still is. Still doing well. I first got the message about relocating when I was at a sales conference in Denver. And it just was one of those crazy things where I was talking with all these other hotel sales managers about all the other hotels that they worked at. And a lot of them said, oh yeah, I've worked at a few different cities and I've worked at different locations and different hotels. And everyone had a good story of like moving on to different places and getting all these different experiences. And I was kind of the only one that said, oh, I've lived in the same place my whole life. I've worked at the same hotel for the past few years. And I thought, man, maybe there are other opportunities outside of my area. And that's kind of the funny thing, is that I got the message a day or two later. And I thought that this is just great timing. This is a great chance to build my career and add to those experiences I already have. And it felt like the right time and the right choice. And so ended up moving out here, and again, not knowing anyone at the time, I thought, all right, how do I meet people? And it was funny. I was at a business after hours for the chamber, I think last week, 2 weeks ago, and someone asked me, like, oh, I don't know anyone here. What do you recommend? How did you meet people? And I still remember the first after hours I went to was at the Boilermaker office. And I just went up to a table and I introduced myself. And it was so funny because they were so excited that I just came up and introduced myself. And they said, oh, you're new here? Let me tell you about this. And have you tried this? And have you met so-and-so? And I'm just like taking mental notes as they're all talking. But they were so excited just to be able to share more about this area. And I thought, this is really cool. Because I mean, I could have easily walked up and they said, okay, who's the new guy? Like, okay, just keep moving along. But no, like they pulled, like they introduced me, they walked me around the room, and they said, oh yeah, now go and talk with so and so, and it was fantastic. So.
What do you think is and I'm cheating a little bit because I know you very well, but there's one common theme when I think of you, and it's like the desire to do more. And that message right there of maybe there is something outside. So you were working at a hotel at home.
I was working. Yep.
So maybe there is something out of this job in my hometown that I've been working in for the last 3-4 years, whatever it was at that point.
Yeah.
And that desire to look on, and then that opportunity happened, and here you are. What do you think it was? Something in your upbringing, something in that experience itself? Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think because I've always been work focused, and I always try to put as much as I can into the job. And sometimes I do get tunnel vision where I think only of that job I'm working at. And I remember my manager at the hotel told me, "Hey, I'm not gonna stand in your way. Like I know you're gonna move on to better like other things." And I said, "No, I want to continue working here." He said, "No. I want you to continue getting better and continue learning different roles." Mm-hmm. And so he said, "I just want to be able to assist you on that journey." I said, that's really nice, because I had only been working at the hotel for a little while, and for him to kind of give me that support and say, no, you can do more than this. Because at the time, I was just so focused on what I was doing. I wasn't thinking of big picture. I wasn't thinking of 5 or 10 years down the road. I was just like, okay, how do I go from day to day? But he already saw like the vision, like, oh, this kid can do a lot more. And I mean, I think I always had a little inner motivation to do the best I can. I think that comes from sports too, where like, hey, if you're playing a game, you give it everything you can. You like compete as hard as you can, and that's kind of what's driven me in work too.
Take us back to that night at the Boilermaker after hours. Talk to us about. And I said in the beginning, and it sounded like I was saying in a joking way, but I'm dead serious. You're not going to find somebody in this community that's more involved than Travis Rabbers. I will hold that to my grave. If you want to argue with me on that, please call me. And you don't need to reply to that. That's just facts. Where did it start with getting involved, and this and the next one? And I mean, your resume, if you will, of volunteerism and impact is incredible, especially for somebody that, like in my position, my dad did a lot with Rotary. That's how I got involved with Rotary. I didn't seek that out of myself without the direction of my father or looking up to him throughout the years. I had that roadmap. Yeah. You didn't, in the sense of moving here to the new community. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I'd say I've always had good support from friends and family. I've seen my parents volunteer and do extra things, and by them volunteering, I kind of got brought along to volunteer as well, and went on a lot of road trips to help move people into places, a lot of cleanups at the school playground or anything like that. And I was part of a Rotary Club or Rotaract Club in high school, and that was my familiarity with Rotary, and then did a little bit after college and joined a club there, and I did a few volunteer projects. And that was my first thought when I moved here. I was like, all right, maybe I'll find a local Rotary club and try and connect with some people that way. And I still remember walking into that one club. So they asked me like, oh, who invited you? Or like, who was the person that you talked to? I said, no one. I just Googled Rotary Club and I found this. And again, they were just so excited. Like, oh, wow, wait, there's someone new that's joining the club or interested in learning more about it. And I remember sitting down at the Onondagas and hearing the presentations. And I think a week or two later, I got asked to join a committee or something. I said, sure, why not? And I don't know, it just kind of spiraled from there, where I thought, yeah, I think I can do more. And it just gives me an opportunity to learn more about the community. It gives me opportunity to have a positive impact on the area. So it's been all wonderful, these volunteer groups and extra projects I got going on.
What do you think that this area would be a common theme that's different than your hometown or other areas you've worked in or been around when you look at it? I mean, I have such a siloed experience. I was born and raised here, went to Rochester for college, graduated, came right home, right? Mm-hmm. So like, this is all I've known. I don't have tremendous experience in living in other communities and that professional environment. Like, what do you think is like the main route? Like you talked about, like, I think it's incredible that you bring up all these people are just so welcoming. Yeah. And they weren't just like, oh, you're the new guy. I'm Bob. Have a nice day. Whatever. And it's easy to do that. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think that difference is?
Yeah, I think there's so many. I'd say it starts with the people. Like, there are some really good people, hardworking, community-oriented people in this area. And two, there's a lot of great organizations and groups, whether it's a Rotary, United Way, all the different nonprofits, the Heart Association, that have all these different events. And then you've got the people that are willing to put in their time and effort to support everything. And I mean, just thinking about what we have going on this spring, we've got the Heart Association run, there's all types of walks and other events. And I remember just going to like ribbon cuttings and after hours, and people that are willing to come out and support persons starting their brand new business, someone who's celebrating an anniversary. There is a lot of pride and support for locally owned businesses and people that do good work. And I wouldn't say that was missing from my hometown. I just don't think we had the resources or like the opportunities to do so. Like at my old Rotary Club back in Michigan, the average age was probably like 60 to 70, and then I was 20. And so I helped bring it down.
That.
Yeah, I helped bring it down a little bit. But I know we did have a chamber, and we did have a tourism bureau. I don't know. We may have had a young professionals group, and I try and keep in touch with how they're doing because I know they've been doing really good work and growing that as well. But the opportunities and support here, I think, is what separates this area from other areas where, yeah, you just get that.
So volunteering in this next comment, I'm going to put in with networking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you really boil it down, it's the same thing. You're networking by doing a certain cause, and you're meeting people that can have an impact on you professionally, personally, whatever it might be. I saw something last night, I think on LinkedIn or whatever, and I want you to respond to it, that says something along the lines of networking is so insane because one relationship that you make at one event with one person can change your entire life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Rip that apart for me.
I mean, I say, can I use you as an example?
Please.
Because the first Rotary meeting is when I met you, and you introduced me to the steering committee, Catalyst, and all the different Rotary committees. And I'm thinking about all the different connections that I've met. And sometimes all it takes is that one connection where then they can lead you down to other opportunities. And I absolutely believe it just takes that one impact and that one connection. Oh, there we go.
Get them on the payroll. Get them on the payroll.
I say that one person where it may have been the one introduction you were looking for, that missing piece of the puzzle, and they help fill it because they either know the right people or they have the ways to support you. So yeah, absolutely. Then it takes you to just say yes to that opportunity. And many times you think like, no, I don't need to go to this volunteering event. I've already done work for this year, this month. There's no incentive for me to go. The incentive is like the cause, the work, but then also the connections.
And I teed you up and wasn't expecting you were going to go that direction. So I appreciate that. But I teed you up in the sense of like, I know your current role, your previous role, like all of those were from connections that you made in the community, right?
Yes.
So like, let's look at like the Travis Rabbers that we know and the Travis Rabbers that moves here, works that job, goes back home, doesn't go to anything, doesn't make any connections, works the job. Like, what would that Travis Rabbers now look like? Much different.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because, and not just from a volunteer standpoint, but from a networking standpoint, giving back to the community, meeting people, doing the right thing, all of these things. I think it's so interesting. And I've shared this before on the podcast, but like when I started with the family business in 2016, the first chamber event I went to was a speed networking event at Piggy Pat's. It was like July 4th. I had my 3-piece suit on because I was a professional now. And I still remember the first person I met at that event was John Reese with Aflac. Yep. John Reese introduced me to Sarah from United County Tourism. She introduced me to Catalyst. That got me involved with Catalyst. That got me involved with the chamber, which got me involved with this person, that person, this person. Not only did I make good friends, but 6 months, a year later, I looked around the table and said, oh, half of these people are my customers.
Yeah.
And it was all from those opportunities that you can backtrack, which I think is cool to do now at this point when we've been doing this for a while, if you want to call it that, and look at these relationships have led these points in my life or given me these opportunities or whatever, whatever it is. I mean, this podcast space, I knew Matt and Bill. We needed to fill a void in what we're trying to do here. I brought Mike in. Now we're all working together. Now that's how this thing is alive. And it's just, it's an obvious that's how it happens in life, right? But I think it's interesting to look back at what does the individual do? What do you do to make that happen?
Yeah. I think that's a great example too of this area and how we support each other. And yeah, I think about if I didn't do any of the additional events, the volunteering, the networking, I don't think where I'm at would reflect that. I think I would
Why? In what way?
I think the connections I made along the way helped me get to where I am now.
Sure.
And when I first started the hotel, I met many connections through whether it was like BNI or volunteering that ended up working with me at the hotel that opened doors for me to get into banking and opened doors for me to get to my position now. And so because I had no established reputation in this area, that was how I helped build up my reputation of this is a hardworking person.
That's gold.
Yeah, this is a good, because if I didn't show up or do anything, they would just say, oh, that's the guy who works at the hotel. But now it can establish a reputation like, oh, this is the guy who does additional volunteering and networking, is out there. So yeah, that helped me just get my feet going.
That's good. Look at that. Clip that. That'll be a good one. I want to ask you a question, Travis.
I'll go fire away.
Have you ever said no?
I've thought about
just for the
this.
record, this is just my personal notes, okay, everybody? None of the things that I rattled off of his boards and all that were written down. That's all Steven's stuff up here, and I missed about half of American Heart Association. You said that, missed that.
Yeah.
All these things. Have you ever said no?
I don't think so. Maybe a few times, only because it was like conflicting schedules. Like, oh, I can't make this because I've got something else.
Tell us. We're going deeper, Travis. I was in the passenger seat of the Honda Fit. I want to go in the back seat.
Oh, there's less room.
I'll fit. I'll make it work. I know I'm a big boy, but I'll make it work. Tell us why that is so important. There's so much you could rather be at that networking event. You should be doing your half-course shots on Instagram, which if you want to check them out, he'll drop that in a little bit. But tell us why that's so important for the community and for you.
I think I've always found it, let's see, I like doing work that may not get done if you don't say yes.
There it is.
And
say it again. Say it again.
I've always found value in doing work that may not get done if other people don't say yes. And that's what I look at with most volunteering. Because again, going back to growing up, I gotta shout out my family because they've always said yes. And sometimes you look around and you're thinking, well, who else is going to do this work if they're not doing it? And they said, there's no one. It's just not going to get done. And I've kind of found that with most volunteering is that if you don't do it, there's no guarantee that the work's going to get done. And I've always just found that's neat where you can say, hey, we're really making an impact. And if we're not out here doing it, and it's important work too. I mean, it's important work that can make an impact in the community, that can change someone's lives that you hope for. I mean, I'm thinking of Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which is a great organization. And every time we've done a bed build or a bed delivery, and doing the bed delivery especially, you get to see, wow, this is changing people's lives. You're giving a child a bed to sleep on. And again, that all starts with the people that started the organization, that do the work, that do the bed build, that do the delivery and facilitate it out. So again, opportunities are so great in this area because there's great organizations like that give you the chance to do it.
You know what you do a remarkable job at, and I don't think you either realize or give yourself enough credit for, is leading from the front. Like you just said, if nobody else is going to do this, it wouldn't get done. So I'm going to take the accountability for myself to get it done, and I'm going to bring people with me. Like gala, gift auction, calling out some Rotary things that would not have happened if it wasn't for Travis. That is a perfect example of somebody that leads from the front consistently because it's a core value in your life, obviously, to do good by doing good for others, right? I mean, I think that's incredible.
And that's a kind of a cool thing because I've never been a leader. I've been a follower. I've been the guy that says, all right, just tell me when and where to show up. I'll be there. And I never really wanted to be in the position of having the responsibility of, oh, you're the guy, like it's kind of on your shoulders. But I think that's been kind of the professional growth about this area, is that it pushed me to do more of those things that I didn't think I was capable of. And that's been really cool. And
so what do you think was the switch from that? Because you never wanted to be the leader. You never wanted to be the guy.
Yeah.
Right. And if we can break that down a little bit more, you're telling me that you just want to be the one that helped and showed up to be able to help. And this is what time we're being here. I don't want to set it up. I just want to come here and help you. And then that's it. That's not who you are today. And I can just test for that without going into detail. What has changed?
I think just a like professional, personal growth of getting more confident in those situations and saying, hey, I know what I'm doing. I know what can be done. I know what this is capable of doing. And I know there have been times where I've been part of groups where I thought, well, I think I could do a pretty good job of leading this, and I'd like to do a few things differently. And now it got to the point where I said, well, I don't want to actually do that. I just want to have the thoughts about it. And then finally I said, okay, why don't you just actually put your ideas into practice, and then you can actually make an impact that way instead of just thinking about it. And so I don't know what clicked or what switched. Maybe it's just a confidence or comfortability, but finally I said, yeah, just say yes, and then try and do the best from the leadership standpoint.
Mm-hmm. I saw another good quote, I think, on LinkedIn on the same scroll yesterday that you just reminded me of, and it was really good and wanted to drop it. And now I'm just going to look at Mike and hope that he comes up with it. It's not this, but it was along the lines of like just saying yes and figuring it out on the way down, you know, the whole parachute thing.
Yeah.
But it was a lot better than that.
Starting a business is jumping out of an airplane.
Yeah, that was it. That wasn't it, but it was close. Anyways, we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, with that. Travis, I want you to talk to the person that's watching this. That is either two people. One, they're new to an area wherever they are, and saying, man, I have to get involved. I didn't realize. I just want to stress again. You look at, I'm going to volunteer for this organization. Anybody's initial thought is, I'm going to go paint the sidewalk at the Utica Zoo. Great. Mm-hmm. I'm going to help the Utica Zoo. When really, you're going to meet all these people, build a deeper relationship with Bob, who could potentially hire you for that new job, become great friends with Sally because you two are painting a sidewalk in 90-degree heat together. Who knows? It's so much bigger picture.
Oh, yeah.
One, the person that has moved somewhere new, doesn't have much connections, and realizing they need to do that, or somebody who's been somewhere existing and saying, I just need to get more involved for myself. Because you just answered the question without answering it of, it was just personal and professional development that changed your mindset to being the follower versus the leader.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk to those people.
Yeah, I'd say if you are struggling to meet connections, if you're in a new area that you don't know many people, and maybe maybe you've grown up in the same area and you really just are looking to expand your network because you haven't taken up on those opportunities before. And especially if it's in this area, I mean, I'm sure in other areas too. But it starts with just that one connection and asking them, oh, what else are you involved in? And then it kind of spirals from there. Or like going back to the Utica Zoo example, like you're painting something at the Utica Zoo, and then you hear about events the Utica Zoo has. Like, oh, there's a Wine in the Wilderness. There's a fall event. They've got the December events going on. And then you can volunteer at those, and then you get to meet more people, and then you get to form more connections. So it is a domino effect where you meet the one connection, you do one event, you get to learn a little bit more, you keep doing more events. And I say you can easily Google like what's going on in this area, follow the chamber, the Oneida County Tourism, because they do such a great job of promoting this area and showing all the different events that are going on. Because if someone says there's nothing to do in this area, they're not looking very close. Because there's so much in this area, and like you said, it just takes that one connection to lead into other avenues.
Tell us how the new gig at the bank has been.
It's been,
and just tell everybody where you are, what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm at the Bank of Utica. I started there in October as a commercial banking representative, and It's been fantastic. It's a very unique bank and very relationship-based, community-focused. They do so much. They give back to the community in so many different ways, whether it's the New Year's Eve festival that they put on, partnering with local organizations. And it's a great, great people. Again, very similar to the community where first day, everyone showed me around, introduced themselves, and great clients as well. Very long-standing relationships where you get to know families from generations, and getting to learn the history of a business, how it started and how it's grown, and how the bank has helped along the way, because they love supporting local businesses. They love seeing this area grow, and they love helping the businesses along, whether it's opening accounts, whether it's lending, just offering advice and guidance along the way, because they've seen a lot of businesses come up, and so they've got a lot of ways that they can help, which is great.
So, real quick, we're going to talk about an event that Travis and I are co-hosting, co-chairing, and actually, we're going to tell the story real quick. If you didn't think that Travis practices what he preaches, here's a great example. 5 years in a row now, I've been the chair of the Service Above Self Gala. I had a baby girl last year, and life has got crazier with the business and the young child. And I called Travis and said, I don't think I can chair this anymore.
I think you told me on a golf course, actually.
Even better. Probably with a couple of Utica clubs.
Yeah.
And he was probably like, shut up, that's the beer talking. And I was like, no, you're serious. And then called him the next day and said, hey, by the way, I was serious.
Yeah.
And said, we got to figure something out. I don't think I can do the lift that I have in the last couple of years, and I want this event to go on. I want the right people, blah, blah, blah. We got a great committee. Put it out to the committee, Mike. Nobody. Month. Get a call from Travis. Hey, what if we co-chair this together? And so you want to talk about nobody else stepping up and Travis stepping up. That's an exact example of that. But I tell you what, we're going to crush it this year. And Travis has been a great help of sharing some of those chairing responsibilities, because it is a big lift from the committee and the chairs and all that stuff. June 5th, Service Above Self Gala. Travis, tell them everything that they need to know.
Yes, it's 5th annual Service Above Self Gala. Each one's been phenomenal, and it's going to be, like you said, Friday, June 5th from 6 to 10 o'clock. It's going to be at the Stanley Theater. The beneficiary this year is going to be the Kelberman Center and their Camp Connections program, which is a wonderful program supporting kids from all around the area. And it goes to the summer. So the funds from the event will help the campers get into the camp. It will help some of the activities and programs they have going on. They've been so wonderful to work with. The minute we told them that we've chosen them, they were so thrilled and immediately started brainstorming ideas to make it the best gala so far. And yeah, it's a wonderful event, and we're still accepting nominations for the Service Above Self award winner, because it's the purpose of the gala, I'd say, is twofold. One, you get to raise funds for a great organization. Two, you get to recognize a great individual from the area and present them with the Service Above Self award. So we're still accepting nominations until Friday, February 20th. So let us know if you have someone in mind that you think would be a great award winner. And the bonus to the event is it's fun. I'm biased, but it's the best gala out there, because we get out there. The music's great. From Last Left is going to be performing. Basically, like from 6 to 10 is cocktail hour. We have a short presentation where we recognize the recipients.
6 to 7. That's a long cocktail hour. 6 to 10.
6 to 7 is cocktail hour, and then small presentations, and then the rest of the night is music and dancing. And so it's fun event.
That's great. I don't know if you're okay with this, but I'm going to send it. Announcing here, the presenting sponsor is Cliff's Local Market.
Yes.
Which is officials, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to announce it here. But super excited for them to be there. Anyways, June 5th, please come out and support it. It's a great event. And what's really exciting for this year is when everything goes to plan, we'll be pushing the $90,000 mark for funds raised for the entire event in 5 years. So,
and that was your idea.
Baby.
Yeah.
We've made it happen. Yeah. And that, like Travis said, that's the cool thing is we pick a different organization every year, and it goes forward to a committee, and there's a reason behind what we're picking, and it's a great event. So June 5th. Here's the thing: if you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching watching this podcast, you have to buy a ticket. So we'll see you there on June 5th. Travis, thank you so much for being here. Anything else before we wrap this up you want to add?
No, thank you. And I appreciate you having me on, and always great talking.
We appreciate you being here. Until next time, go out there, lead with purpose, and make an impact in someone's life today. My name's Stephen Turnbull. It's Travis Rabbers. We'll see you next week. Take care.